let's listen.
Welcome to Man on the Street. Today I'm sitting and chatting with a man who at 16 years old was the drummer for the Motor City's premier rock and roll band, Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. It was there that he hammered out one of the greatest drum breaks in the history of rock on Devil with the Blue Dress. He's also recorded with legends like Edgar Winter, Alice Cooper, Dr. John, Bob Seger, Ronnie Montrose, Nils Lofgren, and many, many, many others, providing the backbeat to some of rock's most renowned tracks. Yes, it's Johnny B. Badanjek. B, thank you for joining me today on Man on the Street. How are you?
Hey, Jamie, thanks for inviting me over to be on the Man on the Street interview. Or is it Man in the Street interview? Man on the Street interview. Anyways, I know it's been a long time, but we finally made it and got together, so I'm very happy about that. So roll with your questions. I'm ready.
B, obviously your time with Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels was a huge and significant part of your career. But I want to talk to you about the Rockets. You co-founded that band in 1972, and it was a showcase for your songwriting skills. You had a dual role as a drummer/lead vocalist, and the songs that you wrote with the Rockets helped launch that band into national prominence. And of course, I'm leading up to talking about your new release, Arc of the Sweeping Sky, but tell me, what has it been like to be in that band, the Rockets, all these years? And was that time between the early to mid-'70s where you really honed the songwriting skills that you use today?
I was speaking about the Rockets and the songwriting, which I was doing a lot of. I was not the only songwriter in the Rockets. Jim McCarty was writing too, and we were sometimes writing together, and sometimes years later down the road, you know, with Dave Gilbert or so, Dave would get involved in some of the lyrics and stuff like that. But mostly, I was the chief songwriter, and Jim wrote some great songs too, so I love the songs that Jim wrote. And when you think about it, you know, I was playing guitar, and you're trying to find songs that the people would like, you know, blues songs. I'm writing blues songs, and we're doing cover songs and all that, and it was just an insane time. The red carpet, Ann Arbor, girls galore, just the crazy, crazy stuff, you know, anything you could imagine. It was going on. Bikers, gangsters, girls would take their clothes off while we were playing songs at the red carpet and dance naked in front of the band. It was just, you know, it's a place you had to be. Wonderful years.
In the last couple of years, you worked on Alice Cooper's latest album, Detroit Stories. Tell us about your involvement in that project.
Well, on these Alice Cooper albums, what happened is Bob Ezrin was sitting in a hotel room with Wayne Kramer and Alice, and they called me up. And they said, Alice wants to come to Detroit, back to his roots, and record an album. And they said, we're just wondering if you knew any drummers. And I said, well, I know all the drummers. I said, there's funk drummers, gospel drummers. There's some of the greatest drummers in this town. You know, I said, if you want a drummer that is in the groove and plays rock and roll, that'd be me. And they all cheered. So Bob said, this is what I want. And he started telling me what he needed. And I said, yeah, we got that, got this, got that. And then they came in and we did Breadcrumbs in March of 2019. And it was just a 6-song EP. And Alice had so much fun. He had so much fun. He said, I got to do a full album. And he came back in October. And that's when we worked on Detroit Stories. And for a week, and not knowing anything, that when it came out in February of 2021, it became #1 all over the world, everywhere, England, Germany, France, Australia, and it debuted at #1 in America. Thank you, Alice. Wonderful.
So the exciting news is you just released Arc of the Sweeping Sky, a 12-song record billed to Johnny B. and the Murder Hornets, released on Royal Oak-based Funky D Records, where we're at today. But tell me, what are the specifics on this new album? And tell us about the new band, Johnny B. and the Murder Hornets.
Actually, what happened is after we finished the 2 Alice Cooper albums in 2019, we were kind of hanging around, and it was Tino's wife, Linda Lexi, was driving in the car, and Lexi said, why don't you just do your own album? Tino's going, yeah, that's a good idea. You write a lot of songs. Why don't you do your new album? And I went, huh? I didn't know. People asking you to do your own album. And so he said, come on. So I got Garrett Belanek on guitar and Mike Marshall on bass, and we started practicing and working up songs. We were rehearsing down at Mary Cobra's house from the Detroit Cobras. And then we'd come over here and record. We would do a couple tunes and come over here and record a couple tunes. We had like 9 or 10 tunes. And then, folks, the pandemic hit. Okay, so we couldn't go anywhere. Everybody was so afraid. And they wanted me to have my own album, Johnny B. Badanjek. I didn't really want that. I kind of wanted more of a group thing with a band name. So I came up with, I want to use Johnny B. and the Murder Hornets. Okay, that's good. We're rolling along here. We're doing some of the songs. A lot of these songs are all brand new songs that I had written, and they were turning out better than we thought. And the one tune I did with the only other writer was Jim McCarty from the second Rockets version, like in 2011, 12. He came in with a guitar lick and at his house, and he goes, and I said, I loved that. And he goes, well, why don't you write some words for that? And I said, okay. And I said, I know right where to go with the chorus and that. And that was a song called Dark in Singapore. So he's going, where's the words? It was taking me months. So 3 months go by. He goes, where's the words? I said, I'm still working on it. So after I got done and we recorded it and I had the words, we never recorded it in a studio or anything. We were just rehearsing. And he goes, these words are genius. They're pure genius. It's kind of like abstract painting, I didn't really know what they were about at the time. But looking back on it, I think it's a sketch of Jim Morrison, when you're singing, the aging lizard king and the Aztec gods ride the sun with the sea in their eyes. The nimble fingers on your hands survey the earth's doom. In the garden of stone you sleep with your fire and passionate kisses. I'm thinking, Jim Morrison's in Pierre Lachaise. He's in the garden of stone, and so on and on. It kind of references that. And so that and a lot of other tunes on the album have different meanings and different things. So sometimes and sometimes, like painting, you don't.
I read that you recruited famed rock and roll poster artist Stanley Mouse Miller to do the cover art for the new album, and I'm going to throw it up on the screen here so everybody can see it. But tell me about your intentions with this album cover. I mean, it's so cool. The colors really pop, and then you have the Murder Hornet right in there in the middle, jamming out on the electric.
All right, so while we're recording, Tino says, you're going to have to do the album cover, and what are you going to do? And so after coming up with the name, we were kind of doing it ourselves. We were finding Murder Hornets and this and trying to do things. And some things were pretty cool. We came up, but I just felt, well, I want to write Stanley and see if he's interested in doing this, And so I wrote him. I said, Stanley, Johnny B. I said, I'm doing a new album. I said, we're not on any major labels like Warner Brothers, Elektra, or anything. I just, Funky D Records, a small mom and pop shop in Royal Oak. And I said, meaning that, we need help. If you could help us out. I don't hear from him. Then he writes back, and just one word. He goes, great. Then I don't hear from him. Then he writes back, what's the name of the band and what's the music like? I said, well, the name of the band is Johnny B. and the Murder Hornets. And the music's Detroit rock and roll. Then I don't hear from him. I'm going, I don't know what to do. Then he writes back, I don't like the name of the band. You got to maybe call it Killer Hornets. I'm going, Stanley, I own the name already. I can't change it now. He goes, what am I supposed to do with a murder hornet? Put a butcher knife in there? I go, no. Stanley, I'm a Buddha. I said, maybe a guitar or drums or something. And then I don't hear from him. And Tino's bothering me. He's going, you got to have the album. I go, I haven't heard from Stanley. I don't know what to do. And I call Mark Kaminsky, who's a friend of Stanley from Detroit here, who does all the posters. I say, Mark, I need someone to do an album cover, and I haven't heard from Stanley. He goes, what's the name of the band? I go, Johnny B. and the Murder Hornets. He goes, that's fantastic. I love it. Call me tomorrow. So I call him tomorrow, and just the day I was going to call him, I get a little sketch from Stanley, just a pencil sketch of a murder hornet with a guitar. I went, this is incredible. I just run back, Stanley, this is great. Continue. Then months go by, and I don't hear from him. finally, he sends the album cover, and he says, Johnny B. and the Murder Hornets. And I sent him the title, Ark of the Sweeping Sky, but he didn't put it on there. Everybody's going, don't bother Stanley anymore. Don't bother him. Just get. So I call Mark Kaminsky back and go, can you match these letters in black? He goes, I don't know if I can match those letters. And see, so anyways, the title of the song title of the album, I mean, Ark of the Sweeping Skies by Mark Kaminsky, who helped out immensely. And that's the story. And I wrote Stanley back and said, Stanley, I'm going to send you a record. I never heard from him.
Outside of being known as an incredible drummer, you're also known for your paintings and your artwork. Do you have anything going on in that part of your life right now?
If you've been in the music business, and I've been in it a long time, playing 60 years or so, and like Hunter S. Thompson says, his famous quote is, the music business, pimps, thieves, and gangsters, a long, dark hallway, a deep money trench where men die like dogs, and then there's a negative side. So near the end of the 90s, I was splitting the drum chair with Clem Burke with the Romantics. He'd play some shows, I'd play some shows. I had another band called Broken Toys. I was playing with Mitch Ryder. Everything was going to hell in a handbasket. I had a girlfriend. We broke up. The bands broke up, or they kicked me. And I just said, you know what? I hate the music business. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go home and start painting. I can't take it anymore. So I went home and closed the door, and not realizing to be a painting, that is actually a starving artist. It's all basically the same. So, I'd go to the cupboard, and there was actually no food in the cupboard. It was actually like Mother Hubbard. The cupboard is bare. And I had friends, Jewish friends, that were helping me out, and I say, hey, did you eat dinner tonight? No. I go, let's go to the casino. I want to gamble. Good friend of mine, Sheldon. I'll buy you dinner. We'll get a comp dinner, So it was a really tough life. And I've been painting for 20 years now or so. I just love it. It's a great thing. I'm working on a big painting now. And sometimes they take 5 or 6 months to do. And I sell a lot of the paintings at the River's Edge Gallery in Wyandotte, and I've sold many paintings. I'm glad people like my art because it's a huge history. That's going back to Renaissance art, 13th century, and we have all types of art to modernism, contemporary, this, and you know what? I just do it for myself, and I love it. So thank you for asking.
I want to thank Johnny B for joining me today on Man in the Street. And people, please click on his Facebook page. It's Johnny B Badanjek, so you can keep up with his music career as well as what's going on with his paintings and his artwork. His website is johnny/bee.com, and you can pick up his new album, Ark of the Sweeping Sky, at www.funkydrecords.com and also on Amazon and iTunes. And as we head out of the interview here, we have some great footage of Johnny B performing throughout the years. And what we've done is we laid one of the new tracks from the new album over the footage. The song is called Someone Else. I love it. It really moves. Check it out. And then we have some great stills of Johnny B pictures throughout his career. So enjoy those. And we'll see you next time on Man on the Street, because everybody has something to say. So let's listen.
So many stories I've been told. Demonstrations leave me cold. People always twist my head. Follow me, don't follow them. Yeah, I don't wanna be someone else. I don't wanna be someone else. Alright, here we go. So many people wear a mask, thinking they know where it's at. The world has changed so much today. Why can't I just be the same? Yeah,
At 150 pounds, the world champion, drummer B. Badanjek!
And the Detroit Wheels. All right.
What you have done now, mercy. CC Rider, I say, see what you have done now.